Last time on Tokyo BTM, we explored some of the best bathhouses that East Tokyo has to offer. But now we're heading west, straight to Shinjuku and the heart of Gay Tokyo. Come with us as we show you exactly how to get there, step by step, from the station to the entrance. First stop, 24 Kaikan.
And action!
We are in Shinjuku.
Yes, and it's very busy. Sundays are always busy here.
Do you know that they're closing that IKEA up there?
Huh?
Yeah. What do you think are the ideal times to go to 24?
Okay, so let me tell you my experience. I have been to 24 the most out of all of the hot timbers that are in Tokyo. But I used to not live here, so I was going there a lot more often when I did live here.
Oh, because you'd stay over.
Yeah, I stay over, and I only came on weekends, so I can only tell you about the weekend times.
Okay.
Now, a regular 2-day weekend, Saturday, Sunday, I believe that overnight, like after you get done drinking or while you're drunk, most people go in, but probably about 1 or 2. I believe there is a wave before that of people who go in who are not drinking, but waiting for the people who are going to come in drinking. So people who come
That's
in
what I
at
do.
12.
That's what I do.
11:30, 12.
Yeah.
And then you have the people who are completely drunk and obliterated, and they come in after the bars are closed, or people who expect people who come in from the bars after they close, which is about 6 or so.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 times I think people come in normally. And then if you're having a 3-day weekend, then you can expect a little bit of the day before the holidays afternoon. Should also be a little bit busy, just as I mentioned for Ninja and Marasaito coming in about 2. I feel like people come in about right in the afternoon time, and then right into the evening, and then after that you can go and have dinner or whatever. So I think that's the times for 24. It's super accessible, so you can really go in at any time.
It being busy the day before a national holiday.
Yes, so if there is a Monday off, which often happens in Japan, I would say that the Sunday afternoon, like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, could also be super poppin'. Just for people who don't have to go to work the next day. So imagine having 2 Saturdays. You could choose one to do your laundry. I feel like that is a mindset that some people hold.
Yeah, I think that in general, as you said, 24 has a lot of you can pretty much go anytime and it'll probably be okay. It's such a big establishment that there's always going to be someone there. It's also a variety of types of people. So if you wait around enough, long enough, you will find someone that you like. There's always going to be a turnover of people and a variety, and there's so much space that a lot of people are there. If not, just wait in the bath or whatever, chill. Or in the summer, I go up to the rooftop and chill. I bring my Switch and hang out there as well. What I do notice though is Sunday morning, so like a typical weekend, Sunday morning's not a bad time for me to go because that's when everyone starts waking up from the night before. They go after they drink, they sleep over there, and then they wake up Sunday morning, and then they want to have a quick round before showering, checking out, and then so I've noticed that if I go on a Sunday afternoon that doesn't have, the next day's a work day, it gets really quite slow comparatively. I do think that BodyBreath, where we're going to go to after this, can be a little bit more picky. I feel like 24 is it's very open. I think a lot of people ask me, I'm like this, and I like this sort of person. What's good for me? I'll usually recommend 24. I feel like 24 is not the best place for everyone, but it's a good enough place for most people.
Right. So it's almost saying, okay, hey, you want some coffee? Oh, we'll just go to the Starbucks.
Yeah,
Starbucks.
Exactly. You might, if you're a coffee buff, and you might like certain blends and this and that at different places, but Starbucks will, it'll scratch the itch.
Yes, it will scratch the itch. It still has caffeine.
And so has caffeine.
Yes.
And another thing I'll say as well is I think in general, of all the places we've introduced today, I think it's the most foreigner friendly.
Definitely. They definitely embrace it, and they have definitely reflected that in their prices. They do change the prices after I think 6 in the morning. They go back to the 2,900.
It's not 29, it's 33 now.
33 now. See, so
and then 39 at night.
During the nighttime is 4,000. up to 4,000, depending on
3,900, yeah.
3,900. Yeah, it used to be very cheaper than that. It was like 26 or 28 at some point.
Here it is.
So
We have arrived. For 24 as well, when you get in the front door, you have to take off your shoes.
Yes.
Put it in the locker. The locker is 10 yen?
Yes.
10 yen for the shoe locker. It doesn't, you need 10 yen. So there's like a coin making machine on the left if you don't have enough. Interesting about 24 is that it's one of the only places I can think of that takes credit card. All the other bathhouses are cash only.
Yeah.
So you can pay in cash or credit card at 24.
Right.
Yeah, so we are talking about foreigner friendly and
Yes.
reflecting that in the price.
Yes.
That is one thing that I will say. I don't tend to go to 24 anymore because it's over double.
Yeah.
What-
It is. But it's what you pay for too. You're not just paying for the shower, which you get in another place, and probably a place to lay down.
Yeah.
But there are two different floors. One with like a half common room.
Yep.
And then the main floor has a half common room, but everything else is like open as a common room.
Yep.
And it also has a huge dry sauna, a wet sauna. They've got 2 jacuzzis inside as well. And they also have a sling. So I have multiple showers that are stand up. So I think that's what you're paying for this. This is more
True.
of a made for multiple like big groups of people.
Yeah.
So that's what you're actually paying for. And you're also paying for the convenience of it being not on the east side or anything like that. So,
Yep. And I think you're right. I think it's the closest thing that we have really to the word bathhouse.
Exactly. It embellishes a lot more amenities
Yeah.
To make it seem like a bathhouse.
Yeah. The other places, we call them bathhouses really, but what they are cruising spots, sex establishments.
Yes.
They have showers, but
Hookup
they're
spots,
they're hookup spots. They're not really, it's not the bathhouse that you would see, the type of bathhouse you'd see in other parts of the world.
Exactly.
And so 24 is really, it fits the bill of that, what a lot of people associate with what a bathhouse is. And as you said, you're paying for that extra, all the extra amenities. You can also stay over, like using it as like a hotel.
Yes, you can.
You can book, you can't book in advance, but you can on the day if there are free rooms. I think I don't know off the top of my head, I think it's like 5,000 or 6,000 yen. That gives you access to the bathhouse, and then you actually have a small room with the door you can lock.
Yes.
So if you're coming in for, I don't know, a quick overnight sort of thing, it works. It also works if you get trapped out of in Nichome or whatever, and or you're going to be trapped, and you can buy a room in advance. And then, as I said before, very foreigner friendly, and in multiple ways. So this is probably the only one we're introducing that you can speak English in at the reception.
Yeah, some of them do. I've never had to, but yeah. I think that people who are English speakers or speak English to the staff, they get by really well.
Yep. So you don't have to worry about, bringing in Google Translate and stuff like that.
Right.
A lot of signs are also written in English. I believe they're also written in Chinese, Japanese. I'm not sure about Korean, but I've been in many lines where people are, getting everything done in English at the front desk.
Yep.
And then on top of that as well, I think because it's so foreigner friendly, people go there who like foreigners.
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like every time that I'm there, it's more like people don't tolerate foreigners, they welcome foreigners.
Yeah.
That's the feeling that I get.
Yeah. People often say, 24 is like where all the foreigners go, but if that's what you're looking for, or that's the thing you want to try, or that's the thing that the locals want to try.
But exactly. Because like, if you go, you're going to run into locals who want to meet foreigners.
Right. And if you are a person who are like, I'm not really sure if I'm into Japanese guys, then
That's true,
you
too.
can also know that other
That's
people
true.
who are visiting, who are foreigners, are also there too.
Yep. So now we've left 24 and we are almost at our final destination.
No death.
Hopefully no death. Final destination. We are coming up to BodyBreath.
Yes, Miss BodyBreath.
So BodyBreath is a very good time. I think we ranked it S rank in our ranking system or whatever last year.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about BodyBreath.
So I want you all to close your eyes and remember Nickelodeon, 1990s with that big old Aztec face. Remember that show, Legends of the Hidden Temple? That is what reminds me of BodyBreath.
No. You're gonna have to send me a reference later because I don't get this at all.
No, literally, it seems like a jungle gym.
Ah.
Dimly lit. And there's so many areas. There's stairways that are like super steep. There's like secret doors and secret like compartments in the pods of the single rooms that you're into. Like it's really cool in that way. So the adult McDonald's play place.
Kind of.
Legends of the Hidden Temple. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, BodyBreath. It's a good time. It is accessible from Shinjuku Nichome. Maybe 5-10 minute walk.
Yeah, not that far.
5-10 minute walk, 1,500 yen. There are, English and Chinese and Japanese instructions for a lot of things. Again, when you come into this place, get in, take off your shoes, put them in a locker, take your key, and then give your key to the person at the front desk. Again, if you only speak English, you can do some basic back and forth. They are foreigner friendly in that way, but maybe still prepare like a translation service just in case.
Yeah, just in case.
Google Translate or something like that.
I don't think they're too particular here if you're making the effort.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've been here, but I don't think that much has changed.
They have multiple events on different days. I don't know if people really like care too much about the events. Like they'll have like fresher days, so it's like I'm new to this, or they'll have like Big Dick Day, or they'll have, I think it's just
people come in because the basic thing is that young people come here. 20s and 30s is the main target for BodyBreath. And if you're a person who is into thinner and or athletic, or people who look younger, that is the target you want for here.
Size-wise, how big do you think BodyBreath is? Like, because we've talked about the sizes on the other ones.
I think that BodyBreath, I want to say, if we take 24 as the standard for a large one floor, I think after you consider the curves of everything, it's about similar in size in terms of length, if you will. But a lot of the beds are put above.
Yeah.
So I would say the amount of beds or the spaces that you can be able to occupy, they're just like set up differently. Slightly smaller than 24, but not so bad.
This is just a random shooting it out there, but I think there's probably 30 plus beds in BodyBreath.
So some of the places are just like full mats that if 4 people sprawled out, like stretched out, could lay in. But people just don't do it that way. So,
but like the 31, like closing the door and locking it or whatever. Then you have spaces that can fit 10 people. Multiple areas. There's couches. There's also just bunk beds and stuff like that. So like I think. Again, probably 30 closable cubicles, and then on top of that, space for at least like 60 people. Like I think it's pretty big.
It's pretty big, I think. It's about 60 people normally. But they still let more people in. More than that. So.
What do you think the best times to come here are?
So I think I know. I've come here on a Sunday afternoon at about 1 or 2. I also think that because it's so close to everything, it probably runs until like last train, especially on a Sunday afternoon, so evening rather. So if you come in at 7, you probably would not be surprised to see so many people that are in here as well. I think that also people like to stay overnight, so if you walk over here from Nichome, there are some people who may straggle over here as well. But because they close essentially during the weekdays, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or a 3-day weekend is the best days to come, and then come in on an afternoon, or if you are drinking out, come earlier, because we did mention there's more spaces here, but this is all kind of like locked doors. So if you want a space to actually lay down, come in as early as you can on a weekend when you're drinking. They now only do overnights for the weekends. Before,
Really?
I think it's from Thursday night
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Sunday, and then Sunday evening they close. But before Corona, they were open pretty much all the time. But now after Corona, they've kind of dimmed their business hours.
That's true.
Yeah.
But you can stay over. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. It's not a good sleep because everyone's going to be trying to wake you up. You're going to be hearing people you're going to be hearing people walking all over, banging. As you said, there's like rooms above you, room below you, little cubicles or whatever. It can get noisy.
Yes.
But again, it's a good place to stop by. It's very convenient. There's also like a relax area where you can chill in between rounds, have something from the vending machine, check your phone. You can charge your phone here. Charge your phone here. That's all included.
The other thing is that that is what is attached to BodyBreath.
Yes.
Is one for the big boys. They have Bears Camp. They're the same company, and essentially there are two different entrances. The one for BodyBreath you can be able to see right off of the street, which is a stairway that goes downstairs, but in the same building, which is noted by the book off sign. If you go inside of the building and take the elevator downstairs, you will be taken to the entrance for Bears Camp.
Yep.
And Bears Camp is for the guys who are bigger. Yep. Essentially, if you're a bear, you go in from the BodyBreath side, you have access to both sides.
Yep.
And if you want to just be on one side, you can choose. But yeah, so for the guys who are bigger, who are like, oh, I'm not into younger, skinnier guys, I want guys who are more my age or more my size, Bears Camp side is definitely open. The Bears Camp side is slightly smaller than the BodyBreath side. However, I will say that I know there are other bear type places similar to insides that we did before with Ninja and Monocyte. But this is one of the places that also is for like young bears. So you get young, but you get bigger guys, and if you're someone who is into that, this is also in the same building. Yep. So you get a 2 for if you like both, and if you just want one side, then you also can be satisfied as with that as well.
Yep. And I think that that's adding a lot to the variety of the types of people that you're seeing even within BodyBreath lately. Is people will go to Bears Camp, and then they have a shared common room.
Yes.
But there is a door that technically locks in between that you can get a key from the front staff that allows you to go in. So you do see people now with bigger body types going through at BodyBreath, and then occasionally, even for me, I'll follow someone back to like through the other way when they'll keep the door open, and then so there's a lot of like cross pollination, I would say,
and that's what we want.
And that's what we want in between the two. So it's kind of, as you said, kind of nice. It doesn't lock you in to one, which is nice. I also used to use the Bears Camp showers sometimes.
Yes.
Because they're individual
showers over there.
Yeah. So sometimes, like, Meng's commented on it before, like the communal shower here, sure, it's fine for what it is, but sometimes the water backs up and stuff like that, or it's busy, bunch of people using it at once. So yeah, you can also like try and, it's kind of hard. I wouldn't necessarily encourage you to go back and forth in between the two, because I think at that point you're going to have to speak Japanese and ask reception for a key and stuff like that. So I used to actually go to Bears Camp back in the day, and then they stopped me a couple of years ago. They said I graduated from,
I said no for you.
So I was able to go back and forth, and everything was great. I got a key, and then I went before, and they're like, you're not a bear. And then I was like, okay. They're like, go to BodyBreath next door.
Accept your fate.
Accept my fate, exactly. And so now I'm just mainly in BodyBreath. I always think it's funny in this building. Like, I can see people obviously living here, hanging their clothes outside. And it's like, do you know what's going on in the basement? Yeah. You know, right?
You know what goes
You know. Like,
and
like, right? Any final thoughts, Don?
All these places are foreigner friendly. All of them are easily accessible from trains. We mentioned the hours for these places and the best times to go inside of them. They all are frequented by not just locals but foreigners. They're foreigner friendly, so you can expect a nice variety of people to come in. Yeah, come when your body tells you.
Exactly. So, Thank you, Don, as always, for coming out today. You can follow Don, Mayor of Nichome, and his YouTube channel that we'll put right here. Give him some love, and we hope to see you again sometime soon.
Yeah, I'll see you next year.
What? Well, once a year. What?
Average is once a